Hello and welcome to the new episode of my reading vlog where I read my self-destructing books. Hi! I literally just finished recording an outro for episode 2. I will link the episodes in the description box below if you haven't seen them, if you've missed them out. But out of 25 books that I had on my self-destructing trolley in the beginning of the year, I am down to 15. And I'm kind of trying to do five books per episode to keep it nice and even. One episode filming could take me a month, it could take me 2 months. It depends how fast I read the books. But today I need to pick up another 5 books. And in the last episode, I had quite a good success reading Mia Sheridan's books. So I'm thinking I have another 2 books by Mia Sheridan on my trolley here. I might be reading these, but let's have a look what I have on my trolley. Okay, so we haven't got much space here. I'm literally just kneeling here in the corner between my bookshelves. All my yarn here. And yeah, so this is my trolley. At the top here, these are the books that I'm kind of prioritizing. And here on these 2 shelves, these are the books that I have for my self-destructing vlogs. Self-destructing books, reading vlogs. Oh my gosh, I literally cannot speak. And what do I have here? Okay, so I have Elsie Silver, the whole Chestnut Spring series. Oh, I've got Lucy Scott. I've read this book already. Right, so I've got the other 2 books from that series by Lucy Scott. So I might be reading those 2. And then what else? I'm feeling Mia Sheridan right now because I actually enjoyed the other 2 books that I have read by her in the last vlog. And then I don't know what the 5th book will be. I guess I'll see when I get there. What shall we read first? I don't know. Shall I read this? Because I need to pick a book for my horror bingo board. And it's a collection of short stories. And I have another one here at the top. But it is not on my self-destructing trolley. So it's just my TBR. But I think by reading this, I can literally kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So maybe I will start with this one. And if I absolutely hate it, I can just pick something else. Okay, so we'll start with this. We'll start with the haunting season and get it out of the way. But this is a edition with some sprayed edges. And I think I picked it up in a charity shop 1 or 2 years ago, something like this. Okay, so let me see. Is there 8 stories? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. 8 stories. Winter with its unsettling blend of the cozy and the sinister has long been a popular time for gathering by the bright flame of a candle or the warm crackling of a fire and swapping stories of ghosts and strange happenings. Now 8 best-selling award-winning authors, master storytellers of the sinister and the macabre, bring time-honored tradition to vivid life in a spellbinding collection of new and original haunted tales. Taking you from a bustling Covent Garden Christmas market to the frosty moors of Yorkshire, from a country estate with a dreadful secret to a London mansion where a beautiful girl lies frozen in death, these are stories to make your hair stand on end, send shivers down your spine, and to serve as your indispensable companion for the long nights of winter. So curl up, light a candle, and fall under the spell of the haunting season. So it seems alright. I'm hoping this is a short book. Just under 300 pages. If I can read 1 story per day, how many pages they have? Because, I need to do some maths. 30, 40, it's about 30, 40, 30. Okay, so on average, they're about 40 pages. So if I read 40 pages, let's just say it's about an hour of reading. So I should be done with this in 8 days, hopefully. So wish me luck. I will catch up with you when I'm halfway through, or at the end when I finish reading this book, and I'll let you know what my thoughts were. Bye! You have not seen me in here before at this angle. I was recording a March wrap-up, and April's to be out today, and everything is here. But I thought I will give you an update because I started reading another book and I don't think I have mentioned it. So I have the haunting season and the short stories that I'm reading. I've done 5. I've got 3 left. My plan of reading 1 short story a day somehow didn't work out. But yeah, I'm still enjoying it. And I will finish it. But I also started Maggie O'Farrell, The Marriage Portrait. And I am about 114 pages into the book, and it is historical fiction. It seems like we follow 16-year-old Lucrezia, and she goes to this kind of like a hunting cabin in the woods somewhere with her husband. This is 16th century also, so not medieval times, but like whatever times that was. So she married him young because the sister that was supposed to marry him died. She was sick and then she died, and then they requested Lucrezia. Lucrezia is the youngest one of the siblings. Lucrezia and her husband are actually real characters from history. She was Lucrezia, one of the Medici family, and she was married at 15, and she was married to this whatever duke or whatnot. But so I'm not gonna do any spoilers for you guys, but in the synopsis actually says that she thinks that she will die, that he's taking her to this hunting lodge to off her. And we kind of like, so we follow the chapters between, it's a mix between her childhood and the current time. And the childhood is interesting because we see how, you know, she was kind of like this naughty child, and she was very talented, and she was tutored to be, and she was also very, very smart. Like there was this one chapter when the kids were doing the lesson, and was it history or geography? I think it was like mythology. It was mythology. And the teacher asked one of the older sisters a question, and she didn't know, but Lucrezia knew. So she's very clever. She's very smart. She's very talented. And I think as the youngest and quite a small and child of a small stature as well, she's kind of being forgotten a lot of the times. Even her father, when the request from that other man, from that other duke, came to marry Lucrezia instead of the sister that passed away. So when that request came in, the father was like, oh, she's only 10. And the flipping, his face, and the flipping, kind of like this guy that sends letters, like a man, let's call him an assistant or a manager. So this manager, says, no, she will be 13 soon. So yeah, it's very interesting. I used to read historical fiction so much in the past, and then I kind of stopped. And it's nice, especially knowing that there's some sort of a mystery going on. She suspects that her husband wants to murder her, and just finding out how it come to it, and what actually the outcome of the book will be. It's quite interesting. So I'm enjoying this. I'm reading this via audio. I had an audiobook for this, so that's my audiobook while I read other stuff. Anyway, I'm having a good time. I hope I will continue having a good time, and I need to get up off the floor because I went to the gym and I did lots of deadlifts, and my body is so sore and tired, and I have a lot to do today. So I will catch up with you when I probably finish the haunting season, and then when I finish The Marriage Portrait. I have just finished listening to The Marriage Portrait by Maggie O'Farrell. It's a fictional story based on real characters, and I don't know, historical fiction, I used to read a lot of historical fiction in the past, and then I stopped. I think I just got bored and I needed something faster, something more thrilling, and this was slow as well. And even though the story is written beautifully and the writing style is flowy and it's beautiful, it feels very poetic in places as well. I found the chapters are very long and quite the whole action is quite slow, and I think if I was reading this book physically I would DNF it. I find the story interesting and intriguing, but it's only a 3-star book for me, and I think I don't think it's a bad book, but it's just not something that I enjoy reading. But you know, this is a self-destructing books, and I didn't want to just discard this book. I wanted to give it a go. I'm glad I did. I absolutely love the cover. I think the cover is stunning, and when you actually read the book, read the story, this cover has a lot of significance as well. It's basically a story of Lucrezia's marriage to Alfonso. Lucrezia was so young when she was taken away and given to this man. I think in real history, I think she was only 13. But I think once you read the author's note, the author actually says that I think in this book she was like 15 or something like this. So it's kind of you know, very, very young girl. I really don't know what else to say about this book. It took me a while to finish listening to this. It wasn't something that I was excited to reach for. It was kind of like going through the motions, and like I said, I think if I was reading this book physically I would have DNF'd it because it was a little bit too slow for my liking. But regardless of that fact, the book is done. It will be unhauled at some point. I won't be keeping this. Hopefully this book will find another home, a better home. But yeah, I absolutely love the cover. I also apologize, I feel I might be a little bit all over the place. I have pain in my eye. My eyelid is swollen. My eye is hurting. I don't know if it's physical or if it's like allergies and stuff like that. So I'm kind of just trying to be here and ignore the pain. So yeah, that was that. And I think I've had enough historical fiction. So I decided to pick something contemporary for my next read, and I will be reading Happy Place by Emily Henry. I've got this stunning book. I picked it up in the works, I think, and I love the combination of the colors on this cover. So it was definitely a cover pick for me, but also hearing a lot of people enjoying Emily Henry's writing, I'm excited to have a go. Like I said, I've never read anything from Emily Henry before, so yeah, bring it on, and hopefully we will have some nice summertime fun. Hi, I come upstairs because I need to prepare an Etsy order, and my camera's here, so I thought it's a good moment to update you on my Happy Place reading progress. My book's downstairs. I'm nearing 50% mark. I'm actually having a really good time listening to this book. I do have this book checked out from my library as an audiobook, and I've done some progress on my blanket for Jason, and while I was listening to this, and so far so good. I'm having so much fun. So in this book we follow a group of friends that meet for annual vacation in one of the friends Sabrina's father's summer cottage. There's a twist to the story, of course, because their cottage is the last year, their cottage is being put up for sale by the father. So this is the last year they will be able to do this in this place. And they've been doing this since university, since they were in, like, I think in college in America or whatever, I don't know. But so they've been doing this for years. So this is kind of like the last time they will do it. So it's important for everybody to be there. Our main character, Harriet, doesn't really know that this is the case until she turns up at the cottage. And when she gets there, her ex-fiance is there as well. And he's an ex of 5 or 6 months, and none of the friends know about it. So we kind of have these two people that have to pretend that they are still together for the good of the entire group. And, you know, especially that a couple of these people from this group are engaged and are planning to get married in that week when they're there. So they kind of have to pretend that everything is fine, and you know that comes with all sorts of issues, and you know they're put in one bedroom and everything. So it's a fun read, and we kind of go between what's happening now in this current situation and what was in the past, how they met each other first time, how it was when, you know, they were seeing each other, etc., etc. So we kind of like go in between the past and the present. And I think it's been hinted why they broke up, but there was still no clear indication what actually happened. So I'm intrigued. I'm interested to find out what really happened, because they seem like a really nice couple. So I'm having a good time. Looking forward to finding out how this story ends. And yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna go prepare my Etsy order now, and then we are painting fences today. As you can see, my eye is in a state. It's very painful. It's just one of my eyes. Yeah, so I'll see what happens. I have been taking antihistamines, but it's not really helping much. So we'll see how I feel when I actually go outside to paint. Wish me luck. Hi all! I have just finished reading Happy Place by Emily Henry, and oh my gosh, what a fun book to read. I rated this book 4 stars. This was the first time I was reading from Emily Henry, so I didn't know what to expect from her writing. And even though a lot of people are kind of saying that Emily Henry is their favorite author, because I had zero experiences with Emily Henry and her books, I was a little bit apprehensive going into this book, and I have to admit I am very nicely surprised. I had a really good time with this book. We follow a group of characters here, but our main 2 characters are Harriet and Wynne, and basically what it is a second chance romance. They are forced to spend a week together with the group of friends, so 6 of them all together, and they have to pretend that they are still a couple. And things happened during that time that they spent together when we kind of see the dynamics between Harriet and Wynne, and we also see the dynamic between, you know, the friends. It was such a fine time, and I feel like the way Emily Henry constructed this book, having, you know, some chapters happening in the past when Harriet and Wynne just met and how their relationship was progressing, and then some of the chapters happening in the present time one day while they are in that beach house or the cottage or whatever. I felt like because she's done that, it kept me very intrigued and very interested in finding out what really happened between them and why did they break up in the first place. And yeah, so I think, yeah, a fun read. Highly recommend it. I'm going to order this book for my mom. 26th of May. We have Mother's Day in Poland, and I usually get her some books, so this will be one of the books I will be buying for her for Mother's Day. And yeah, it's fun, and honestly I am kind of intrigued and interested in reading some more books from Emily Henry, so this is definitely a winner. This is gonna stay on my shelves, and yeah, I'm looking forward to reading some more from her. Hello, my lovely people. I have finished reading The Haunting Season and actually quite like it. So this is a collection of 8 stories by British authors, and all the stories are very gothic-y in feel, and some of them about ghosts, and I don't know, they're very creepy. Some of them were actually giving me the creeps, and especially which one was it? It was a little bit, was it this one? Yeah, there was this one story, The Confinement by Kieran Millwood Hargrave, and that was the story about a witch, and it was so creepy and it was so scary. And yeah, I actually really enjoyed. Normally I say I am not a fan of short stories, but these were actually really, really good. I was supposed to read one story a day, but I read this book over like 2 weeks or something like this, but I enjoyed the book. I'm gonna rate this 4 stars because I think it was good. It was very atmospheric. It was very quite like very gothic stories. All of them were set in, I think, in like 19th century in England, and they read really, I don't know, the atmosphere was very heavy, and you know, the creepiness some of these stories created as well was really, really good. So I enjoyed that one. I'm glad I read it. This is one of my TBR veterans, so I will be happy to take that one off as well. And now I was going to finish this episode here, but I think I'm going to read one more book, and I picked up A Goddess of the River by Vaishnavi Patel, and this is one of the Illumicrate books that I had from last year, and I was right in the beginning where I was too excited to skip books, and normally I think I would have skipped it because I was new to Illumicrate. I didn't, and I don't think this would be a book that I would normally pick to read, so this is why it was on my self-destructing book trolley. And this is based on an Indian legend. A mother and a son, a goddess and a prince, a curse and an oath, a river whose course will change the fate of the world. A powerful reimagining of the story of Ganga, goddess of the river, and her doomed mortal son. Not something that I would normally pick up, but I'll show you the beautiful cover. This is an Illumicrate box. This is Illumicrate book, and look how beautiful the foiling is on the cover. It's very, very... Is it a mandala? Is it called a mandala? It looks like a mandala. And the edges we have like the lotus flowers on the edges, and papers. Well, 2 of them are the same. But yeah, so I'm gonna give this book a go and see. 400 pages. We shall see. Wish me luck, and I will probably come and see you when I have an update.
What's it like to be the one that he turns to when he's out of answers? What's it like to be the one that he comes to when he wants to dance? I wonder what's that like? I've got him on my mind, but he doesn't know my name, and I'm running out of time. I wish you felt the same, and I'm acting stupid like
I have read 12 chapters, which is just under 150 pages. I'm about a third into the book. Love the colors of the cover, and actually I'm pleasantly surprised. I've pretty much just read part 1, where we were introduced to Ganga and some of her family relations, and she was introduced to us as this beautiful goddess of the river. Ganga was the personification of river Ganges, and so we are introduced to Ganga, and she was kind of like looking after those 2 godlings that lived in her river. What happened was these 2 godlings, they took a cow from some of the people that used to live or whatever near that river, and there was this guy who came and he said like, oh, you need to give this cow back, but but he also cursed Ganga. And what happened was she lost her immortality and she became a mortal woman. And the curse was that until she bears 8 children, the curse will still hold. So when she was cursed, when she became a woman, this rich man came to the river and he found her there and he took her to his house and he married her. And Ganga was actually pregnant 8 times, but 7 of these children didn't live. And the story explains, I don't want to spoil anything for you, only the 8th child lived, and it's only because Ganga's husband followed her when she was going to give birth and took her son away from her. So even though the curse was lifted, she was now back to being a goddess, but she had lost her son to her mortal husband. So it's a very interesting story. It's a very interesting legend. And then in part 2, we kind of see the life of the son, of the 8th son. And you know, it's only been a couple of chapters, and I'm kind of getting a little bit lost because we go in between the son's point of view, or like the son's story, and then back to Ganga story. So this is where I am in a book. Surprisingly, like I said, I'm quite enjoying the storytelling. Plan for tonight is to do my dishes, get myself ready for work, and yeah. So can you see I've been doing puzzles this afternoon. So yeah, that's the plan for tonight. Do the dishes, get myself ready for work, and then hopefully I'll be able to read at the bedtime a little bit. That's it. I'll probably chat to you when I finish with my final thoughts, but so far so good. 30% of the book, and I'm quite happy that I decided to pick it up, and hopefully it will hold up the position that it has now. Because right now I'm kind of feeling like a 4-star read, 3.5, maybe 4 stars. So hopefully we'll stay around in this region, and yeah, we shall see. My people, hello. I have just finished reading A Goddess of the River by Vaishnavi Patel, and I rated this book 3 stars. This is the story of the Goddess of the River, Ganga, and her mortal son, who is being taken away from her soon after he is born. And in part 1, we find out how Ganga got sent to Earth. We found out about her curse, her punishment, and we kind of follow her up to the time where her son, after he's been taken away from her, when he's about 1 year old. The following parts of the book are following the events leading up to, during, and soon after this great war that happened in this book. Now, I'm not sure what this war was because I got a little bit lost. First of all, we still follow Ganga and her son in those further parts of the book, but their story is more, it's kind of like interjected in between everything else that is happening. And the reason I got lost is because I had difficulties remembering who was who. There was a lot of new characters introduced with quite difficult to remember, for me at least, Hindu names. A lot of them sounded very similar, and I'm not trying to be offensive, but I just found it very difficult to follow the specific characters. And the whole part, like the political military part, was, for me, for my liking, a little bit too long-winded and a little bit confusing. So part 1 was my favorite one because the story was so easy to follow. We had few characters, and it was just, for me, I just saw this clear path and I followed this path. But from part 2, I started to get a bit confused, and I kind of lost the plot. I'm not gonna lie. I still enjoyed the story of Ganga and her son. I especially liked, also there was few flashbacks in the story, and they confused me as well because I had to kind of like stop and think where I was in a story and what time and place basically I was in. Ganga's son had quite a few flashbacks. There was also few people introduced, and it seemed like Ganga was able to read the memories and kind of get into the thoughts and stuff like that. And each one was telling their own story. And even though they were somehow connected, I just found it a little bit too confusing. So part 1, definitely my favorite part of the book, because it was just easy for me to follow. I enjoyed this book. I think the ending was very lovely, very emotional, and I enjoyed the story of Ganga and her son. But I think this book would be more suited for someone, or I think I would enjoy it a little bit more if I had at least a basic knowledge of Hindu mythology, of Hindu gods. Then I would be maybe able to place them a little bit better than I was able to. Regardless of that, it's still an enjoyable book, and I did enjoy reading about Ganga and her son. And yeah, 3 stars, which in my opinion, for me, 3 stars is an okay book, like something that I enjoyed. So not a bad rating, not a book that I loved, but also I didn't hate it. So that's that. Right, so here we are again, finishing episode 3 of reading my self-destructing books. 4 books this time, which is really, really good. I was actually going to read only 3, but we've managed to read 4. And I think it's successful because, you know, even though maybe we didn't get the best ratings, at least I know I've given them a chance and not just simply unhauled them or just kept them on my shelves, taking space. So let's do a quick recap. The first book that I finished in this video was The Marriage Portrait by Maggie O'Farrell, and this was a historical fiction set in 16th century, and in here we followed just a 1 year of life of Lucrezia de Medici, her marriage to Alfonso, Duke of Ferrara. Very difficult for me to remember these names. And I rated this book 3 stars. And I think if I read this book a few years ago when I was reading a lot more historical fiction and I was enjoying historical fiction a little bit more, I would possibly rate it a little bit higher. But for me right now, I just found this book a little bit too slow for my liking. And then the next book that I finished was Happy Place by Emily Henry, and that was the first time I read from Emily Henry, and I actually really enjoyed this book. I rated this book 4 stars. I think the characters that she portrayed in her story were very well portrayed, very well built characters, and I really enjoyed finding out the story of Harriet and Wynne, and I think the story was told in a very intriguing and very interesting way, and this book just got me hooked right from the beginning. I rated this one 4 stars, and I will definitely be trying more books from Emily Henry. And then the next book that I have finished in this video was a collection of short stories, The Haunting Season, and some of the authors were Bridget Collins, and we had Laura Purcell as well here, and I think it was 8 stories. All of them ghostly, all of them quite gothic, all of them set in England. And I always say I don't really enjoy reading short stories. These guys I actually did, and there's few really good ones in here. So I am glad I finally picked it up. I also used this book for my horror bingo board, and I rated this one 4 stars as well. And then the last but not least, obviously, this is the last one I was talking about, is The Goddess of the River. I'm not going to talk much about it because I literally just gave you a full review. But yeah, again, 3-star book. Not bad story, but also not one of my favorite ones. Overall, the average rating for this episode is 3.5 stars, which is not too bad, but maybe it could have been better. Some of these books I'm going to, one of them I'm going to keep, the rest of them I'm going to unhaul. Hopefully send them to better homes. keep an eye out on my unhaul video, all the books, and also on my Vinted account. There's always a link to my Vinted account where I always put my books on. So if you follow me, you'll get a notification when my books will go on Vinted, so you can have a look if you want to. So another successful episode, I think, in my very humble opinion. I am glad I'm getting through these books. Let's see what the next episode brings. I'm thinking I want to read some romance this time, I think. We shall see. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like it if you did, and let me know in the comments if you have read on any of these books and what you thought about them. And also, if you haven't seen it already and you would like to see, you should be seeing the latest episode of my self-destructing books on the screen now as we speak. For now, I thank you very much for watching, and hopefully see you next time. Bye!